Wait, is AI about to replace my job? Last week, OpenAI dropped their Sora text-to-video model, and Google followed suit with Gemini 1.5. Hi, I'm Adam Bennett. This is The Video Shop. I've been a motion designer and editor for 20 years. There's no doubt in my mind that AI models like these are going to radically shake up my industry. If you're not a video creator, but you're curious as to how these tools might be used, stay tuned. And if you're in my industry, you can laugh at my pathetic attempt to rationalise this madness. I'll also try to put things in context with some help from an unlikely Hollywood source. Okay, let's get started. Let's start with Sora, and what you probably already know. It can create videos up to 1 minute long just from text prompts. These videos were supposedly created without any modification. Sora isn't out yet, but it's likely it's going to be released to the public this year. Some videos are scarily realistic, and some are just scary. But for those of you seeing these for the first time, you might have to watch these several times before you spot the errors. OpenAI acknowledge the weaknesses on their site, and you can have a good laugh at some of them. Now, I'm not going to speculate on what Sora was trained on, but obviously there's a whole ethical question about that. I'm not dodging it, it's just not the remit of this video. While I'm neatly sidestepping important ethical questions, let's also ignore the lack of accountability in terms of the way these models are and will be used. Yeah, let's not even think about it. Some people are speculating that the style of some of these videos means that they scraped YouTube and even whole movies from studios, with suggestions that they're essentially rehashing stock and other video content without attribution. There's definitely some serious copyright and IP conversations on the horizon. If that's something that concerns you, then you might want to educate yourself on how these models work. I'm trying, honest, but given how basic I am, I'm going to be talking about AI video generally. Now, AI video has been kicking around for a while, but this is I'm not going to use the phrase game changer because I hate it, but as some people have pointed out, this is a step up from this. Now look, I get it. They haven't nailed it yet, and people in my industry are pointing out the glitches and the lack of editability. But how long before AI gets so good that the videos are glitch-free, or we can say lasso the problem areas and make manual tweaks? I'm actually less interested in nitpicking over this particular model. I'm going to take it as a given that before long, any bugs and issues are ironed out, and very soon AI video will be available to everyone. Photoreal videos of anything you can imagine. Don't ask me for a time frame on that, but again. Swift Sora is set to shake up video creation. Models like Gemini 1.5 are going to cause similar ripples in the editing community. Here's a clip from a demo that Google dropped last week.
In Google AI Studio, we uploaded the video and asked, "Find the moment when a piece of paper is removed from the person's pocket and tell me some key information on it with the timecode." The model gave us this response, and it gave us this timecode 1201. The model had found the exact moment the piece of paper is removed from the person's pocket, and it extracted text accurately.
Hold on, can we just check that signature? What? Is this some kind of conspiracy?
Don't be an idiot.
You bloody idiot!
Okay, sorry, back to the presentation.
Next, we gave it this drawing of a scene we were thinking of and asked, "What is the timecode when this happens?" The model returned this timecode, 1534. We pulled that up and found that it was the correct scene. Like all generative models, responses vary and won't always be perfect. But notice how we didn't have to explain what was happening in the drawing.
I really only dabble in editing, but man, the possibilities for this, like a lot of AI, is exciting and terrifying. How long before, say, TV shows can feed in proxies of all the rushes and ask AI to produce offline edits? Then maybe you just have an online editor who tweaks and finesses those edits. That's days of work for an editor slashed. Even though soon I think there'll be less work, particularly in the bottom half of the industry, I think we can still be optimistic. I've got a couple of glib analogies, which I think will help put things in context. Crap visual effects of the 90s. Let's say Sora is released and some clients start creating their own content, or you're being outbid by amateur video creators on lower end jobs. There's likely going to be a lot of inept or shonky content, which I think could lead to a course correction. So this could be like the 90s. Practical effects weren't totally sidelined after Jurassic Park, but many studios saw dollar signs when they realised visual effects were cheaper. And we got a lot of stuff like this. And it lasted a while. It eventually settled down, and practical effects never disappeared completely. So even if work is lost, there may be some kind of course correction. Also, at the moment, prompt-based video production looks like it's going to involve a lot of manual finessing. Until AI models are better trained, will clients actually bother doing that? Speaking of which, art is hard. By the way, I had so much fun finding bad visual effects that I'm just going to stick with this B-roll. Sorry, not sorry. So yeah, text prompting is a damn sight easier than painting and writing, but if everyone can create any video content they can think of, will anyone actually want to watch it? I'm thinking here of my aunt bombarding me with masterpieces she's made by barking commands at her iPad, until I block a number or have her put in at home. Glibness aside, there are some worrying aspects of this. Obviously all the deepfakes that we'll soon be drowning in, unless safeguards are put in place. I also fear for junior motion designers learning their craft. I remember a lot of the mediocre stuff my first employers tolerated when I started out. Some companies might just use AI to do that kind of work. One final thought, which might be worth bearing in mind as you doom scroll articles on AI. So I spent last weekend in a bit of a funk, seeing people react and searching my own feelings for what this might mean. Then I jumped on a collaborative exercise, just for a couple of days, animating a vintage magazine cover. I learned about a designer that I wasn't familiar with and had a blast actually. As my animation was coming to life, I couldn't help wondering about the limits of prompt-based creation. I'm using creation with bunny ears, by the way. If I was being wanky, I might say that creation is about the journey, not the end result. My idea for what it was came together from research, piecing together visuals, and making cognitive leaps. Admittedly, the leaps weren't that big. But I'm not sure whether prompt-based workflows lend themselves to routes like this. I don't know. To a large extent, it's out of our hands, and it doesn't look like it's in any kind of shape right now, which poses a massive threat to motion designers. But yes, it's coming down the line one way or the other. It sounds trite, but the best we can do is monitor it and try to ensure that whatever happens, we're part of the conversation. I know. Put that on a fridge magnet. So I'll wrap this up now. Believe it or not, I did reach out to a few industry peers for input on this video. Big thanks particularly to Carl Hamrick. He doesn't know, but I was getting more and more drunk as I messaged him from my local pub the other night. Oh, and as promised, an unlikely Hollywood source. It's not my fault if you thought that I interviewed them or something, although I did once ask him a question at a podcast events, which I'm sure he remembers fondly. Anyway, so this is Chris McQuarrie, writer and director. The reason I'm giving him the last word is that I think he's someone who really knows audiences, so perhaps a trusted source. Anyway, over to him.
The thing that AI is never going to deliver is empathy and taste.
Yeah.
It can imitate it, but it's not going to deliver empathy and it's not going to deliver taste. And if you don't have empathy for your audience, if you can't be the audience and some part of you can't step outside of yourself and be the person receiving what it is you're communicating, you're not going to tell a story that's going to affect somebody emotionally.
I never leave my mind alone.
Thanks for watching. See you again soon.